I am a nerd. And I'm okay with that. I am a trekker. Is anyone here into Star Trek? Okay. Well, the scene I was going to show you before technical difficulty was a scene from Deep Space Nine. I am a huge fan of Captain Benjamin Sisko. He is one of the best captains that was ever on that show. And the reason I liked him the most is because he was portrayed as an amazing human. He had pain, he had victories, but he had a rage inside of him. The biggest thing that caused this rage was that his wife was killed when an enemy attacked his ship. He had to abandon the ship, and when he did, he never forgave himself for it. He carried the weight of her death on him forever. So I'll ask you guys a question. How many of us can relate to Captain Sisko? How many of us are stuck after we made a decision and we can't move past it and we can't move forward? Too many of us share this. But what if I can give you something that will change your perspective? What if I can give you a tool that will get you to stop looking behind you and to look forward to you? That is what I would like to share with you today. Madam Secretary, motivate board members, fellow speakers, honored guests. My name is Will T. Mobley III. I am a consultant with J&T Engineering, and it is my honor and privilege to speak with you today. I'm speaking on this topic because I firmly believe in this message. And I hope that after these few minutes we have together, that I imprint on your psyche. I'm trying to make you realize that you need to focus your efforts on what matters most. And that is the world in front of you, not the world behind you. I'm going to show you that your windshield is larger than your rearview mirror. Now, excuse me. When I say that your windshield is larger than your rearview mirror, I mean it's an analogy, but I want you to look at it. It is larger than your rearview mirror, but a majority of us spend all of our time looking through our rearview mirror, and we worry about what's behind us. But I'm trying to tell you that you need to focus your attention on what is in front of you, because those things behind you, you can't do anything about them anymore. So when I say behind you, again, it's an analogy, but what are some of those things that you need to put behind you? How about you put the word if behind you? Put it in your rearview mirror. What happened, happens. You can't do anything about it anymore. If we constantly say if, I want you to think of something. If is usually the beginning of a long conversation between your id and your ego. Think about it. If is a gigantic word with only 2 letters, because on the other side of if is usually something life-changing. If I would have got married. If I would have got that promotion. But if didn't happen, so why would you spend your time and your energy wasting on it? Here's something else that you should put behind you. How about blame? How about remorse? How about regret? Those things are nothing but emotional drainers, and they don't need to be in your windshield. They need to be behind you. Put them in your rearview mirror and be done with them. Here's something that you should put in your rearview mirror. How about punishing yourself? I guarantee you, out of the, say, 100 people that we have in here, somebody's punishing themselves for a decision that they made 10 years ago. Why are you doing that? Do not waste your time that you have on this earth punishing yourself for something that you cannot change. If it happened, it happened. In the words of one of my favorite comics, Steve Harvey, he said, if you made it through it, ain't no need to go back to it. So why are you punishing yourself for things that happen behind you? Put punishment in your rearview mirror and be done with it. There's a popular author named Don Miguel Ruiz, and Don Miguel Ruiz said something that I want to share with you. He said that true justice is only paying once for each mistake. True injustice is paying more than once for each mistake. Family, I want to give you true justice today. Stop punishing yourself. The scene I was going to show you was Captain Sisko. This is him looking at his wife, and he's punishing himself. How about he give himself some true justice today? So I've told you about things that you need to put in your rearview mirror. Now I want to tell you about things that you need to look out of your windshield. And when I say that again, I mean to look in front of you. So how do you continually look in front of yourself and stop wasting your time lamenting over the past? Now, I'm not a doctor, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I went to the website Psychology Today, and Psychology Today had this long clinical way of how to get past things and how to put things behind you. But I'm a person that believes in KIS, keep it simple. So I love letter mnemonics, and I love the letter P. So I came up with something that I call the 5 Ps. Again, I'm not a doctor, but just bear with me. In order for you to keep looking forward and stop looking backward, the first thing you got to do is process. Face it. Don't compartmentalize it. Allow it to hurt or lift you. But here's the thing about processing things. You cannot do this by yourself. Use the professionals that are out there, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, social workers, clergy, pastor. Don't do this by yourself. The first thing you have to do is process. After you process, the next thing you need to do is push past it. Now, once you process it, you can learn how to deal with those emotions that you're facing. And how do you push past it? You push past it with the tools that you're going to learn from those people in the process stage. How about prayer, meditation, conflict resolution, forgiveness? These are tools that will remove the guilt of all those events that you go through. Now, after you process and push past it, the next thing you need to do is prepare a plan. You're going to have so much energy and so much restlessness after you start these first 2 stages that now is the time that you want to put something, as I would say in my younger days, on wax. Now is the time that you want to put something down. But here's the thing about making a plan. You can't do this by yourself. You want to lean on mentors that will help you with your plan. And the thing about a plan is that it has to be smart. It has to be smart. S-M-A-R-T. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Here's the thing about plans. Write it down and get someone to hold you accountable. I'm going to say that so somebody in the back can hear me. Write it down and then get somebody to hold you accountable. Goals that are written down become plans. Goals that stay in your head are dreams. I'm telling you to prepare a plan today. After that, the next thing you want to do is proceed in the present. Now here's a word that I want you to take home today. The word is mindfulness. Mindfulness. Now I'm going to give you the simple takeaway is that it means to stay in the present. But please Google that word because it means much more than that. When you proceeded in the present and you've done all those previous steps, this is where the rubber hits the road. In Del Doc, there's a phrase called an execution phase. Here's the execution phase. Here's where you build sweat equity. Here is where you write your narrative. This is where I want you at. This is where you need to be at. This is how you keep looking forward. This is how you stop looking in your rearview mirror. Here's a dumb question, but have you ever seen a rearview mirror on a racehorse? No. You know why? Because they don't care about what's around them. They wear blinders because the finish line is in front of them. I am telling you, team, that the finish line is in front of you. You can't look behind you. Your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror. If I could, I'd like to share a story with you. A story about a young man, let's call him Thomas. Thomas grew up in the inner city. He had a father and a mother, and his father was a member of the United States Army. His father was a veteran of the Vietnam War. His father came home with PTSD. They didn't know that's what it was. He just came home like that. He brought home a lot of demons from that war. He brought home violence. He brought home substance abuse. He brought home a triggered patience. Thomas saw things in his life that he shouldn't have saw at that early of an age. When Thomas was 7 years old, he was homeless. He lived in a homeless shelter for 98 days. And as things changed with Thomas and he started to grow, his neighborhood changed. If you think the opioid epidemic is bad, you should have saw the crack epidemic in the 80s. Destroyed the middle-class neighborhood. And this is all when Thomas grew up. By the time Thomas was 14, 15 years old, he started to roll with a crew. He started to roll with a posse, and his posse wasn't nice. Very loose in the mouth, very quick with his hands. In all truth, Thomas was a miscreant. But Thomas got into a fight in a subway station, and he almost got pushed in front of a moving subway car, almost killed him. That moment made Thomas wake up. Thomas had to realize he had to change his outlook. By any means, statistics and narrative, Thomas should be dead, in jail, or a violent drug offender, but he's not. I'm going to tell you about Thomas now. Thomas is a married man with 5 beautiful children. Thomas is a degreed professional. Thomas served in the United States Air Force for 23 years. He traveled the world. He's seen places that others have only read about in books. Thomas can greet you. He can say hello to you in 5 different languages. You may ask why I know Thomas so well. Well, I'm him. My name is Will Thomas Mobley III. And I'm standing before you not to say that my life is perfect. I'm standing before you to say that when you realize, or scratch that, when you commit to looking forward in your life and not looking back, your life is going to change so much. Your attitude will become so much more pleasant because you won't dwell on your faults. You'll dwell on your potential. You will be much more emotionally available because you don't harbor guilt. You harbor understanding. You're going to knock goals down one by one. They're going to be varied because you don't worry about the pain of what's behind you. You worry about the hunger for what's next in your life. I'm here to stand before you to tell you that your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror, and the past doesn't define you. All that was a chapter. Remember, family, we're not designed to operate in reverse. We're designed to move forward. So that's where you need to focus your energy and attention at. You need to focus it in front of you. Remember what to take from the past, and better yet, remember what to leave there. Remember the 5 P's that I told you, and how they may help you. Forgive yourself today. Give yourself some true justice. Stop doubting yourself. Be your biggest cheerleader. Our eyes are put on the front of our head for a reason, and that's so you can look forward. In closing, I hope after hearing this, that you leave here with a vision to go forward and to blaze a trail of excellence. Leave a legacy, not a cautionary tale. Your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror for a reason. Stop looking behind you. You're not going that way. For your time and attention, I thank you.